Hello, and welcome to the Micro Business Growth Club, Decluttering Your Workspace, or The Art of a Tidy Desk. I'm Wendy Garcars. And one of the reasons I wanted to put something into the video library about this is I think this is something that lots and lots of people suffer from, and they don't always like to admit. We don't like the idea that we're not in full control of what we do, and yet this is something that's so intrinsic to our personality. There are people who are just inherently untidy and don't use the sort of normal processes to keep things ordered and organised. And if that's the way that they have always been, it's very, very difficult to change that. But you need to understand that if you are like that, and certainly this is, I speak from the heartache as I am, there is costs to that level of disorganisation, and periodically we can all benefit from that declutter. So this is really going to give you some simple tips to help you to do that. I think we need to understand the effect of clutter on our mindset. It does have an impact on our mental health. It can make us more anxious about things. It can affect our sleep patterns, particularly if we're worried about being able to find something that we know is there somewhere, but we just can't put our hand on it. And of course, it affects our ability to focus too. All of that impacts on our productivity. If we spend more time searching for something than working, then effectively that reduces our working day. But the other thing that it can do is this level of disorganisation can trigger avoidance strategies that make us more likely to be more untidy and to leave things around, not put things away after us. So it does affect our mindset. We can feel overwhelmed and lacking in control if we operate in that sort of environment for a prolonged period of time. And of course, it is going to have an impact on our productivity and managing our time because we waste so much time searching for stuff. So I thought it would be really useful to give you an exercise to do. And this exercise is literally just getting you to spend a few minutes sitting back in your chair and having a look at your workspace. If that's a desk or a dining room table or maybe in an office, just spend a few minutes having a look at your desk and your surrounding area and just see what you can see. And if you have a piling system rather than a filing system, or if you have document trays on your desk that are overflowing with things that shouldn't be there, like a gift bag or a pencil case or packaging materials, then it's probably time when you had a long, hard look to see whether you could improve that. So what I'm going to give you is a simple exercise to do that can help you achieve a clear desk in a relatively short space of time. So the basic rules are really simple. You want to look at your workload and be able to say what you're keeping, because you need to keep it to be able to action it, what you're going to recycle or bin, and what you're going to file for reference somewhere else. So my approach is I take 3 post-its and I write those titles on it, and the recycle and bin it one I attach to a black sack. Really, really straightforward. What I then do is I put these rules in place. So as I'm going through my in trays and my desktop and everything else that I'm going through, I make a mental note in that I only handle each piece of paper or each email that I have in front of me once. And I ask those 3 questions of it. Have I got to action it? If so, it goes into one pile. Am I going to bin it because it's no longer useful to me? Then in which case it goes into the black sack or the trash bin on my laptop. And am I going to file it for later use? So that goes into a pile until I can physically put it away. So those are the rules that I use. I only handle each thing once. I decide exactly what I'm going to do with it before I let it go, and then it goes into one of those 3 piles. The rule is once it's in a pile, it can't be moved to a different pile. So it's really helpful. There have been times when I've done this exercise where I've hung onto a piece of paper for 10 minutes while I argued with myself what I was going to do with it. But bear with it because it's really useful. Now, going through this exercise embeds these rules in your head, and you'll find that as you're going through your day-to-day work, you'll start asking yourself the 3 questions. Whether you're going through a desk clearing exercise or not, they're 3 rules to have in your head, which are really, really helpful. I also do this exercise with my reading pile, and I'm a great journal or paper keeper, so I have lots of white and green papers and things. For me, it's about applying the rules to that reading pile, because every reading pile has a shelf life. It's no good keeping 2 years of journals stacked against a wall in the hope that one's got an article in that you might find useful in 3 months' time. The reality is that journals like that have a 6-month shelf life. And so the way to manage that is to keep a rolling archive of journals and magazines, so that when you put a new edition in, you take the oldest one out. And so what you're able to do is keep that to a manageable level, and you recycle the rest. And if you sorted your paper daily, you'd be able to keep on top of it using those 3 simple rules. Very effective and very easy to do. So, as I say, those rules you can apply to physical paper and electronically as well. And there are lots of apps that you can use to help you organise. I use an app called Gemini 2. And Gemini 2 helps you to get rid of duplicate documents, copy documents that have been stored on your system for whatever reason. And that can free up really valuable memory space as well. So think about organising your digital environment too. It helps you to identify what you use routinely and what you need to keep just in case. And again, having a proper filing system electronically can help you to do that. But if you're talking about the physical environment that you're in, it's really important that you invest in good storage so that you can make sure that you can find things easily and they are out of the way and the place looks neat and tidy, because that gives you a much calmer mental space too. I tend to recycle as well, because having a stationery fetish, and I do, I have lots and lots of folders and filing systems and tabs and all sorts of things that I bought over the years to help me become more organised. But what I realise is that actually having to clear out periodically, I can recycle those to local charities and stuff, and they can get the use out of them long after I'm keeping it on a shelf just in case. So it's, again, another good habit to get into. As I say, I use the same rules for my digital environment, for my inbox, making sure that I can prioritise the emails that I need to be getting people to respond to, or I need to respond to them. My download folder, again, that needs to be periodically cleansed, because we keep stuff that really is just a comfort blanket, and the likelihood is we're never going to look at it again. So my rule is that if I haven't looked at it in 12 months, I'm not going to miss it, and so it gets consigned to the trash bin. Photos and images are another one. Have a cull. You tend to have multiples of the same photograph, images, memes you've saved and shared. And it's useful to create albums for types of photos too, and then that keeps your menu a little clearer. The point is, if you create your own rules, you're more likely to stick to them, and some of that can be automated too. So again, it saves you time and effort having to go through things. Decluttering can save you time, but for me the biggest thing is it'll give you peace of mind. It'll make sure that you feel confident in yourself, that you have things under control, and that is so important. If you're running a busy business, then you can't be worried about having put something somewhere safe that you can't put your hand on. Simple rules give you an easy to manage system, which in turn gives you peace of mind, and that can't be a bad thing. Have a go at doing the exercises. They help, I promise.